That's what Vulkk looks like, in case you don't know. Okay, so I want to do a quick review just after I've played through both versions of Light Side and Dark Side, respectively Empire and Republic, through the new War for Iokath storyline. It wasn't short, actually. I expected it to be much shorter, but my first playthrough took about maybe 1 hour and 30, 40 minutes or so, but I have never played the story before. Bioware kept it a secret from everybody, even including the people on PTS. And the second time I played through, I was with a better geared character, my main character actually. So it took me about 1 hour and 10 minutes, give or take a few minutes maybe. I didn't waste much time on the second playthrough, but I didn't rush it. If you play with the stealth class, it will be even quicker. The story is decent. What really aggravates me and makes me sad is the amount of mirror conversations and dialogues all over the place. The only big difference, and that's actually important enough to make it interesting, is the exact same lines. You can hear them pronounced by a light side Jedi Knight, for example, in my case, or a dark side Sith warrior. The tone, the pronunciation, the affection that you get from the actors reading those lines is actually very different. Even though they're saying exactly the same things, it feels different somehow. But of course, that doesn't mean that I'm happy with the mirror. I was hoping for at least a little bit of a difference. Regardless of whether you play Empire or whether you join the Empire or the Republic, the other faction is always doing the exact same things. We've got one guy leading one faction, the other guy, or in one case it's actually a guy, in the other case it's a woman, leading one faction and the other faction. And if you join one faction, the other faction takes the edge, sits down, spoiler alert obviously, sits down on the throne first and gets demolished by Tithe. It was a cool and decent introduction to Tithe, the first boss for the new Gods from the Machine operation that starts with 5.2. Unfortunately, it's not an operation, it's just one boss, and hopefully we'll be able to see a full operation with 5 boss encounters completed somewhere around, I don't know, November, December. I doubt it will be ready earlier than this. They mentioned through the storyline here somewhere, I can't remember who mentions that. Right, I think it was Tithe actually. He mentions 6 gods. Why 6? Well, Bioware confirmed that we are getting 5 boss encounters because the second boss encounter will consist of 2 twin gods. And I won't spoil any more for you guys because none of this is still officially mentioned anywhere on official Bioware accounts or on the website SWTOR.com. So I won't speculate too much about what we know for 5.3, what we've heard and read on Twitter and on other websites for the next content update that was eventually discussed during the Celebration Cantina from a couple of days ago. I would like to focus for a couple more minutes on the storyline and ask for your opinion, obviously. You've watched my videos eventually, or maybe you played through the story yourself. What did you think of the choices available? First, what I was disproved, what I believed to be available and possible and did not happen is you can't recruit both of the returning companions at the same time, or at least in my trials and my experiments I was not able to recruit both of them. One of them always dies because you side with the other faction, so far I think it's inevitable, and the only choice you have is to keep the companion or not keep the companion. Now what's funny, in my dark side playthrough, I had a chance to kill Queen for one reason or another. I don't know if it's because I played Sith Warrior, and the Sith Warrior has a very specific personal history with this character. So I got a chance to kill him or forgive him and take him back. And with the light side playthrough, there was absolutely no mention of Elara. And actually I can check right now in front of you guys. What the hell happened to Elara Dorn? Is she part of my roster here? There are so freaking many companions. But so far I can't really spot her. Elara Dorn is not present. Why she's not present actually? That's a weird question. There was supposed to be a conversation in the end on the dark side. Obviously there are plenty of spoilers here, so I hope that you don't mind that, but on the dark side version, when you sorry, on the Empire, when you side with the Empire, you've got a chance to join Quinn. In my case, I played with the Sith Warrior, so Quinn is a next classic Sith Warrior companion, and we have a history, so I had a chance to keep him. During one of the cutscenes, during the storyline, I had a chance to, I told him, my character told him that we'll talk later and we'll deal later. We will recap our story and our past and our memories later on. And right in the end of the chapter, before you see that screen and this quest appears, you actually have a short conversation with Quinn where you have a chance to hear him, what he promises, what he believes, why is he trying to come on your good side again and things like that. With Elara, I didn't have that chance. Maybe if I play a trooper, I will play the trooper probably tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, I don't know yet. But I'm guessing if I play a trooper, there will be a special similar kind of a conversation with Elara Dorn at the end of the chapter, where we will have a chance to reunite or maybe split apart. I don't think there will be an option to kill her. Do you? I don't see a point for a Republic player, even if you attempt to play on a dark side Republic player, you're still aligned with the Republic. There is absolutely no reason or logic to try and kill Elara. This story is good. I was expecting a cliffhanger, and so far we didn't receive actually a cliffhanger. The story ends with a win. Yay, we've won something. And it leaves us asking for more, like always. And I have to say, it's a decent story. I was expecting shorter story with more drama. The family element that we've seen on the Empire version, where Malcolm and Theron clash at some point and even attempt to kill each other. That was a funny moment, by the way. You should see that if you haven't seen it yet. It's a funny moment. First, Theron is trying to kill his father. Then Theron is shouting, "No, father! Who killed you? Oh no, I want to save you." Silly things like that. The family drama is never ending in Star Wars, and I was surprised. I did not expect that, by the way. I didn't know that Malcolm will appear out of nowhere. I can't even remember the last time I've seen that character in game, apart from obviously Alderaan, where he appears just briefly. I can't even remember what was his role during Eternal Throne and Fallen Empire. Was he actually involved at all? Remind me. And with that, I think pretty much my review and thoughts are completed on the new story. I'm eagerly awaiting, hopefully no more than 2 months from now, the next chapter, the next update with the continuation of the story. We obviously have an introduction to Tithe, the first boss of the new operation. And by the way, if you haven't done Tithe yet, I have a guide available on my website. The boss is really easy in story mode. Regardless of what gear you have, find a group for yourself. Don't rely on Group Finder. Group Finder is probably dead, just like it's always been. Go to the fleet and wait for someone to form a group. It's a really easy and quick boss fight. You've got trash to kill before that, obviously, because it's a real operation or a beginning of an operation. You've got a few waves of trash to defeat on the way to the boss. The boss in story mode for 8 men is just a few minutes long, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, depending on how familiar the player group is with the mechanics. In hard mode, it's obviously a huge step up in terms of challenge, but if you have experienced group of players, you know at least the basic mechanics for the fight, and you have half decent gear, which means 240 and above, you should have no problem defeating the boss. Veteran mode is definitely a step up, but for story mode, if you just want to go into the operation and see the story, you have absolutely no reason to not do it. It's really easy. The bolster has been bolstered, which means improved. You're boosted even more than what you were before 5.2. Go in, take a look at the boss, enjoy. It's unfortunately yet another big-ass giant droid. In most cases, depending on your class, you will probably only be looking at his figure from the waist down. Thank God it doesn't have a giant ass like the ILS, the boss from the Ragu event. Man, playing a melee DPS or a tank versus the ILS is just the biggest punishment one can ever expect from SWTOR. So that's it. Obviously, I'm preparing all of these things for a standalone video, even though I'm currently live streaming to my audience. And I would like to hear your opinion, guys. What do you think?